Protein is all the rage, and if you're like me, you have a hard time getting in the 1,000,000 grams they recommend, unless you like to snack. I've got 10 protein-packed snacks that are easy to make, your family will love, and they're not all made with cottage cheese. I'm gonna start with a hearty, meaty sausage ball. Everybody loves a sausage ball, but I'm gonna show you how we're gonna pack the most protein possible in it. So you know the classic sausage ball recipe has just sausage, cheddar cheese, and then like Bisquick or like a baking mix like that. We are going to add cream cheese and cheddar cheese, and also we're gonna use like protein baking mix. This is what's really gonna pump it up. I'm starting with a pound of spicy pork sausage. If you don't like it spicy, you can leave it out. I think you should leave it in. To this, I'm going in with lots of cheddar cheese, cream cheese, which also has protein, half a block, Parmesan cheese, little garlic powder, a little Dijon mustard. These are gonna be super flavorful. This to me is just an easy snack that you don't even realize you're eating that much protein, but it's things like this that you can also put in like kids' lunches, because you can eat them room temperature. You don't have to eat them like hot, or you can even eat them cold straight from the fridge. Usually like the minimum people are talking about you should get in protein is like at least 100 grams a day. It's a lot to squeeze in if you like only eat 3 meals, or like I usually only eat like 2 meals a day. I love a snack though. I'm a snacker. Starting with a cup of the baking mix, and this right here is 30 grams of protein. And there's no like sweetness to it, so you're fine. You are gonna need to get in there with your hands though. Just enough to moisten it and hold it together. It's gonna absorb the grease that's in the meat and cheese as it cooks. So it might look a little dry going in, but it won't be. It can handle more of the baking mix. So another 15 grams going in. Somebody's gonna have to calculate all these grams of protein, but y'all can just trust me, it's a good amount. Because what I don't like is that a hard-boiled egg, you know, like that used to be like the protein snack, and people be like, just eat eggs. An egg only has 6 grams of protein. You need like 10 to get a substantial amount. Clearly I work out. I know we're making snacks, but this one is like the perfect grab-and-go breakfast. Sometimes the best are the simplest. 30 sausage balls, and according to my calculation, each one has over 5 grams of protein. You know you're gonna eat at least 4 or 5. That's a good serving of protein. These go into the oven, 350 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. Not your average sausage balls. I'm gonna pop these onto a paper towel just to drain the excess grease off. And then you can just wait on them to cool and store them in an airtight container in the fridge and just snack away. If you are doing these as a party snack, it's a good one because there's never enough like protein on the party table. Let's see what they look like inside. See, these aren't dried out, and I love how the cheese cooks on the bottom. It gets a little crusty. What I want to see is, can you taste the difference in the fact that we use the high protein baking mix? I'm gonna go with no because we put so much other stuff in there. This is the perfect use for that mix for extra protein. Oh, good. High protein sausage balls, the perfect snack. TikTok taught me this one, the Air Fryer Tortilla Pizza, and you can make this high protein. This is the perfect one that the kids can make after school. And what I like is that it gets crispy on the bottom. In case we haven't met, I love a pizza with a crispy crust. So each one of these tortillas, you can find like the low carb or high protein. These have 7 grams of protein for each one. I'm gonna add a little cheese on the bottom, then a little sauce, then your pepperoni, sausage, whatever kind of meat you like to bulk up the protein. The turkey pepperoni has more protein than like the pork kind. So load it up. This has between 20 and 25 grams of protein for one little pizza. Into the air fryer, 375, it's only gonna take about 5 minutes. And you could easily do a breakfast version of this too. 5 to 7 minutes later, you have a perfect pizza. Look at that. How cute is that? Give it a little crushed red pepper. This is definitely the perfect way to satisfy a pizza craving in less than 10 minutes. I'll definitely be teaching my kids this one so they can leave me alone when they're hungry. When it comes to snacks, not everything is savory. Sometimes you've got to satisfy the sweet tooth. And these easy 4-ingredient chocolate chip cookies kind of surprised me. And they're packed with protein. Starts out with a banana. What I like about all these recipes is even though they're high protein, they're not like keto necessarily, so they don't have like weird sweeteners and things in it. It's like stuff that I would want to eat. All right, you start by mashing the banana, just like you would for banana bread. I like it like really mashed so you don't get like any chunks in there. Nobody even knows it's there. It's something my kids will be like, ew. And I'm like, you never would have known. And then a half a cup of peanut butter, almond butter, whatever you like. And then, sorry guys, but you gotta put the protein powder in this one. Protein powder really is the easiest way to pack like the most amount of protein in something. You can easily get like 20 to 25 grams in a serving of protein powder. I just don't always like to drink it just plain because it, you know, sometimes can taste a little chalky. This one's good though. So you need a half a cup of protein powder, and you can use vanilla, but you could also use like a flavored one. You could even do like chocolate or peanut butter, any kind of flavor. I'll just keep it vanilla today. Mix it up, see? It looks like cookie dough. But I'm doing chocolate chip cookies. I'm do a quarter cup of chocolate chunks. All right, and you wanna put these on a parchment lined baking sheet. We'll do like 6 to 8 decent sized cookies. This is just a good like recipe suggestion, and then you can like zhuzh it up however you like. Make different varieties. You could add like oats in it and do like a breakfast kind of cookie version. These go into the oven, 350 degrees for just about 10 minutes. Hot and fresh. Out of the oven. They look like cookies. Do they taste like cookies? You're gonna wanna let them sit on the baking sheet for about 5 minutes before you take them off. Check these out. See, your desserts can be packed with protein also. You could and should hit them with a little flaky salt when they come out. These do get like a good bit of sweetness from the protein powder, and so that salt just kind of like counterbalances that and like mellows it all out together. These are good cookies. I like a soft baked cookie, a little bit gooey in the center. 5 ingredients. You should make these. Way better than the ones you get like at a health food store. It is Cottage Cheese's time to shine. You can't have a protein snack episode and not include a few with this. I'm making an extra high protein version of our favorite dip, buffalo chicken dip. It's gonna have all the usual suspects, plus a couple surprises. The first being cottage cheese. Cottage cheese really is a good protein source. You get like 13 grams just for like a tiny half a cup. We also know chicken breast has like so much protein. Going in with about a half a cup of cottage cheese. We've always put this like in things like lasagna or things that are already kind of creamy. It's not as scary when it's mixed into things, but like my kids won't eat it plain. Also Greek yogurt instead of sour cream, which is classically in this dip, because you're gonna get a lot more protein. This has 16 grams for a serving, and I'm going to use a whole cup. You don't have to be having a party to make buffalo chicken dip. I love making a batch of this. My daughter loves to eat on it throughout the week and also loves to like take it in her lunchbox. This is something I could eat every day. In goes a lot of chicken. I don't even know how much protein this is, but that right there is a ton. More cheese, AKA more protein. Whoops, I meant to save a little bit of that for the top. Then ranch seasoning, because buffalo and ranch. About a half a packet, and then the buffalo sauce. I like it extra buffalo-y. We replaced the cream cheese with cottage cheese and the sour cream with Greek yogurt. That's how you turn this into higher protein buffalo dip. You can also serve this up in high protein wraps and add even more. To me, snacks are just way easier to get your protein in than like breakfast. Yep, that's it. Spoon this into a casserole dish. I could eat it just like this, without even baking it. I like it where it's not fully smooth on top so that you get little kind of crusty baked bits on top. Top it off with a little more cheese. This goes into the oven, 375 degrees until it's all bubbly and gooey. It's everything you know and love in a buffalo dip. It smells so good. I'm gonna make it pretty and maybe hide some of the cottage cheese with a little sprinkle of green onion. Looks fresh, looks homemade, looks better than any of the store-bought kind. A lot of times if you're doing high protein, you're also trying to limit carbs a little bit. So while I really like to serve this with Frito scoops, it's also really good with crunchy carrots and celery. It's like when you're eating like a buffalo chicken wing and then you take a little bite of celery or carrot with ranch. You get that all experience in one bite. And they make carrots that look like chips, so why not? Also like eating it on this because you get that like hot and cold at the same time, and a creamy and a crunchy, also known as the perfect bite. Getting all that extra protein, you really didn't sacrifice the flavor or the whole like indulgent buffalo chicken dip experience. This works, you should make it. When you love carbs, like I love carbs, it's always good to find a high protein carb to balance it out. And this is that. We're making a high protein bagel. I'm calling it Bethany's Bagel. If you've hung out on TikTok at all in the past 6 months, you might have heard that Bethany Frankel developed a bagel recipe and she nailed it. And I've never tried it, and this was my excuse to try it. So we are making the high protein bagel that also stars cottage cheese. If it tastes like cottage cheese, I don't think I'm gonna like it. I love cottage cheese, but I don't like things to taste like cottage cheese that are not meant to be cottage cheese, you know what I mean? Now she uses a whipped cottage cheese. I don't know what that is. I've never seen it, but I do think that is key to getting whatever the texture of this dough is. This one looks pretty whipped, but I'll whip it again. To whip it, I think you could either just put it in a blender or the food processor. You're just trying to like break up the curds and make it like airy. This is a good one for that. Not sponsored. If it's not this thick, I would drain it first before you whip it because I think you just really need that like thick and creamy texture. Okay, looks good. Now she's very specific, so you need 1 1/4 cup exactly of whipped cottage cheese. It does kind of like taste like less overwhelming when it's whipped. All right, and then to that, all you need is 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1 1/2 teaspoons of baking powder. You don't have to worry about like the real scientific bagel experience with like boiling it and then baking it. We're just baking these in the oven. I know this is not an authentic New York style bagel, okay? But this is definitely gonna satisfy the craving if you love bagels and need more protein. From the videos I saw, it did look like the dough is gonna be like really sticky and wet, a little hard to handle. But I'm gonna trust the process. Okay, this is supposed to make 4 bagels. So you're gonna divide this dough into 4 sections. Okay, then you gotta shape it into a circle. Now she said after you do this part, it's kind of hard to move it. So you need to make it into the bagel shape while it's on the pan. It's like you can already feel it be a little fluffy. I guess the baking powder is already working. That in combination with cottage cheese must be a very reactive combo. Now, you gotta season it, make it a little shiny. So I'm gonna put a beaten egg and a little everything bagel on it. It's gonna help give the bagel good color, but it's also gonna help the seasoning to stick. Everything bagel, and I'm going in with a little extra salt. Okay, let's see if these are all they are cracked up to be. These go in 375 for about 20 minutes. See what happens. They kind of look like a bagel. I feel like hers got fluffier than mine did. Maybe I pushed them too thin, but we do like that. What does it look like on the inside? Will it look like a bagel? Will it satisfy the craving? To really bump up the protein, you would want to add more protein to this, obviously. You could do eggs, cheese, turkey, whatever. I'm gonna add some cream cheese. Listen, has no protein. It's got 1 gram. You're gonna wanna let them sit for about 10 minutes before you cut into it. All right, guys, what's it gonna look like? Looks like bread. What I really love is how easy it is to whip up some bread. You know, you always think about kneading and yeast and all that. This was definitely easier. Now at this point, I would want to toast it again because I like the inside toasted and I feel like I need the true bagel experience. So I'm gonna do that. I didn't even try them before I toasted it, but I can definitely tell you toasting them is the way to go. Now I'm feeling like I might really be eating a real bagel. Let me see if I can taste the cottage cheese. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know. These don't have like a ton of protein, but they definitely have more protein than a regular bagel. And if you add in some smoked salmon or some chicken salad, some turkey and make it a sandwich, this could really be a great high protein snack. It does work. It does satisfy the bagel and carb craving, and it does not taste like cottage cheese. That's a win. Another one for the sweet tooth. This is one of my favorite snacks and one of the greatest things I learned on TikTok also. It's the 2-ingredient high protein cheesecake. A lot of protein. Like 1 little serving is gonna have 16 grams of protein. And like you can use like the no fat or like no anything Greek yogurt if you want for this. Or you can even use like a vanilla flavor. But all it is Greek yogurt and sugar-free cheesecake Jell-O pudding mix. It thickens it up and it makes it like super thick and creamy, just like the center of a cheesecake. And then I'll show you how I'll serve it up. A lot of times if I'm at home, I just add the Jell-O right to this, but it gets a little messy, so I'm gonna mix them in a bowl and then I pour it back into the container. I'm just using the plain Greek yogurt because I like kind of that tang that reminds you of cream cheese. Don't blink, because you might miss this one. And as it sits in the fridge, it gets even thicker, but it thickens almost immediately. See, this to me is like the perfect late afternoon when you're craving something sweet, or even for like a dessert after dinner. But anyway, that's it. I mean, it's so thick. But here is how to serve it up and make it taste just like cheesecake. You can do this like parfait style and layer it. It's really not necessary for me, but you've got your super thick cheesecake filling, and you get to eat, you know, 3/4 of a cup of it. And then instead of the graham cracker crust, just a little bit of graham crackers. We're doing like 1/8 of a serving size, just enough for a little crunch. And then I love blueberry cheesecake. You could also do strawberries or raspberries, but this is your high protein sweet snack. The fastest one of the day, the easiest one of the day, and maybe my favorite of the day. You can just go in for the perfect bite. I mean, it's legit like you're eating cheesecake. I can't explain it, but this is one like I don't get tired of. Play with the fruits, play with the flavors in it. You could do maybe even like a key lime Greek yogurt or something. And you'd have like key lime cheesecake. You can do so much with this one. I want to save this one. We liked the 2-ingredient snack. How about a 1-ingredient snack? Roasted chickpeas. This is like a classic. If you've never made these before, you're missing out. They're just good to make and keep on hand in the pantry for when you're wanting to grab like that salty snack. This is gonna be a much healthier option. And of course it has protein, not as much as some of our previous snacks, but it still works. And you can also combine this with edamame too and add more protein. Drain and rinse 3 cans of chickpeas. All right, and then add them to the bowl and season them up. This is where you can be creative, okay? You don't have to stick to what I'm doing. It's all about an oil to help them get crispy and to help the seasoning stick, and then whatever seasonings you want. I'm going to do a few tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm going in with Cajun seasoning, a little garlic powder, a little smoked paprika, and then a little salt and pepper. I thought the cheesecake yogurt was the fastest. This might be the fastest. Although these have to bake. Get them into a single layer so they get crispy. And these take a while because you want them to get like crunchy. So this satisfies your like chip craving. 450 degrees for about half an hour. This little high protein bar snack. Can hear the crispiness. You want to cool these pretty much all the way before you serve them, and they're going to get even crunchier as they cool. This is like the good happy hour snack that you don't have to feel bad about. You can buy bags of these in like the produce department, and they're like $5 or $6 a bag. It's cheaper to make your own. I haven't had these in a long time. I forgot how good they are. They really have so much flavor. The way they've like absorbed that Cajun seasoning, like it's the perfect salty snack craving. More protein than popcorn, cheaper than nuts. It's a good snack to know. Well, I can't talk about protein without including a smoothie. This is not your ordinary smoothie. How about a smoothie that tastes like an orange Julius, or that tastes like a dreamsicle or a creamsicle? That's what we're about to make. 1 orange, you wanna zest it, so I've washed it because the zest is going in here. So we're gonna zest the orange, and then I'm going to peel it and cut it up into the segments. Can you smell it? An orange Julius, for those of you that don't know, is just like a creamsicle shake. There used to be a place in the mall called Orange Julius, and that's all they served. Then Dairy Queen brought them back, but they were just, you know, packed with sugar and fruit juice. This one's gonna have protein too. Okay, so we're putting the whole orange in, and this is how I'm gonna peel it and cut it. So I just think it's the easiest way. It just smells so good. This is not a time to use like the store-bought orange juice. All you need is 1 orange. Plus you get all like the fiber and stuff too. Oranges and zest into the blender. To that, Greek yogurt, about 1/2 cup. This shake is going to have like 40 grams of protein in it. Your protein powder. For this one, you want to use vanilla so that it tastes like dessert. Milk of choice, which also should have some protein in it. And you'll do 1 cup of that. This is really how to get a big chunk of your protein for the day in. A little splash of vanilla to really keep it tasting like dessert. And then a few cubes of ice. Ice is gonna help it get, you know, frothy. And that's it. Look at that. Cheers. That's good. It is reminiscent of the classic. If you just picture an orange creamsicle or dreamsicle. This one satisfies your sweet tooth, and it's gonna fill you up, and you don't even realize it. Cheers indeed. One more for our friend Cottage Cheese. I have to try the viral Cottage Cheese Chips, because I'm doing it for you, I've got to make sure that they don't just taste like cottage cheese, but rather satisfy the potato chip craving with a lot more protein, because potato chips, I think, have like 0 grams. So this one starts with a cup of cottage cheese. This might be a good time to whip it again, or you want to get the small curd. You can flavor them however you want. You can just do salt and pepper. I thought like some ranch chips are going to kind of give like sour cream and onion vibe, you know? A couple teaspoons, mix it up. That right there tastes pretty good. Anyway, you're going to put like a teaspoon on a baking sheet, parchment lined baking sheet, and spread it out as thin as possible to make a potato chip. I mean, who thought of this? Basically, the thinner you spread your cottage cheese mixture, the crunchier your chip is gonna be. I like them crispy, so I went kind of thin. This actually makes a lot of chips, you can tell, because I still have a lot of the mixture left and 16 chips. So you can definitely make this in batches and you're gonna have a lot of chips stored up. This bakes at 350 degrees. The amount of time depends on how thin you spread your cottage cheese. So you wanna start just at about 20 minutes. It could take up to 45 minutes if you spread it too thick. Here goes nothing. Okay guys, I'm not so sure about this one. The instructions say that you need to let them cool completely on the parchment paper and then peel them away a little bit, because they do look like they are stuck. They actually kind of smell good, like a sour cream and onion chip. Maybe we should have greased the parchment. Let me taste it for you. They can't all be perfect, you know? But aren't you glad I tried this one out for you? They're not that crunchy. They may not have cooled enough. I am shocked at the fact that they do taste like a ranch potato chip. So, I mean, I could sit here and just pick these off. I don't know if I'm gonna be getting any protein though. These are a no for me, but 9 out of 10 is not bad. But I've got one more up my sleeve for you. For my final trick, protein-packed energy balls. These are like old classics, but with a new twist, because we're adding protein powder. Protein powder is just like the secret weapon to so many like sweet treats and things these days. You gotta know the right combination of things to mix it with though, and I think this one is about to be a good one. Starting with oats. Did I mention these were no bake? We love a sweet treat that you don't really have to cook. Now listen, they have things like this at Costco by the bag, like 20 bucks or something. This is definitely another one that you can make for cheaper at home. You buy all the stuff, but you can make like quadruple the amount. Mini chocolate chips, ground flaxseed, fairly inexpensive also. Plus a lot of times when you're eating high protein, you're not eating a lot of fiber. So things like adding this and the oats are gonna balance that out. And then peanut butter, we know has protein, but it's also just delicious. This is the crunchy peanut butter, so we have like some texture in there. This is another recipe you can tweak and make your own. You could do raisins or dried cranberries or almond butter instead of peanut butter, and then go in with some honey. Okay, now for the protein powder. This stuff has protein in it, but you really are gonna boost it up with this. And you can choose whatever flavor you want. We've got chocolate, we've got peanut butter. So I'm doing a chocolate peanut butter protein powder, but you could just do vanilla or just chocolate or whatever you want. So you can add 1 to 2 scoops, so like 20 to 40 grams of extra protein. Getting that mixed up, I've got 2 more things to add. A little pinch of salt, a little vanilla extract. Good little midday snack before or after a workout, a run, whatever you healthy people do. All right, then you're gonna roll it up into balls. As you roll it up, it will start to like stick together more. You could even like have a little bowl of water to wet your hands. I just found that if you press it back and forth, it does it on its own. So your little homemade, no-bake granola bars, basically. All right, once you roll these up, you're gonna place them on a baking sheet and pop them in the freezer for about an hour to set. You can also just keep them stored there. You can just put them in an airtight container and keep them in the fridge, and this is just great for easy snacking or for just like running out the door. The final taste test. This surprises me in a way that I thought it was going to taste healthy, but it tastes indulgent and like the perfect sweet treat dessert. Not just a snack or a grab-and-go breakfast. It's a good one. We did it. We added creative and delicious recipes to get that protein count up. I think you can do it. And now you have an excuse to snack all day. If protein is the name of the game, I think we won.